Hello, children. How are you all? I hope all of you are safe and good. Be safe, children, because times are not so good. The pandemic is rising like anything. So it is in our hands to take care and to be safe so that we and our loved ones will be always safe. So be safe, be good. Okay, so let us go to our next chapter this week, which is coal and petroleum. Now, what are coal and petroleum? They are fuels. But before going into the name of the chapter, let me ask you, we are surrounded by so many different types of things around us, isn't it? Yes. But then, if you consider them, are they all made by man? No. Are they all natural? Definitely not. So some of them are natural. That means they are available freely in the nature. Some of them are made by man. So we can divide all the resources around us as natural resources, or the other thing is the man-made or artificial resources. You yourself can make a list of those things that you see around you. If you make them as lists, or if you divide them into two lists, you will find that all the objects in our surroundings can be classified very broadly into two prominent categories. That means they might be natural or they might be artificial or man-made. So that is our first topic today. What is that? Resources. What are resources? Resources are those materials that we use for our basic needs. Some of them, as I told you, are found in nature like air, water, soil, etc. And some are made by human efforts like petroleum, plastic, gas. All these have been taken or extracted because of human efforts. So all the things that are obtained from nature are called natural resources. So what are the other types of resources? The other types of resources are the artificial resources I told you. So now if we go to classify the natural resources are of two types, two basic types. They are inexhaustible resources and exhaustible resources. What is the meaning of inexhaustible? Inexhaustible means those resources that will never get depleted. That is called inexhaustible. And exhaustible, just the opposite, those resources that will get depleted over time due to unnecessary usage of by man or due to wasteful nature of man. Some resources can get deleted or depleted. They are called exhaustible resources. There are two other words also that can be used with these two words. That is, inexhaustible resources are also called renewable resources, and exhaustible resources are called non-renewable resources. Inexhaustible resources, you can take the example of sunlight, air, etc. They are inexhaustible natural resources. Whereas the exhaustible resources are forests, wildlife, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. are exhaustible. So I hope you have understood the difference between inexhaustible and exhaustible. Inexhaustible means those resources that do not get depleted. Exhaustible means those resources that get depleted or they get over. The other terms are inexhaustible, are also called renewable because they can be made again and again. Sunlight, sunlight will never get depleted. Air around us, it will never get depleted. So sunlight, air, etc. are renewable resources. So, but exhaustible resources or non-renewable resources, they may get depleted over the time. Let us go to the next slide, children. The next topic that I want to explain to you again is a difference between the two resources. The inexhaustible resources, as I told you, they are present in unlimited quantity in the nature. Unlimited. Sunlight you can never measure. How much is the amount of sunlight in the air? Or what is the amount of air? That also we cannot measure. So they are unlimited quantities and they cannot be exhausted by human activities. As you can see on the slide, examples are sunlight and air. The exhaustible resources, why are they called exhaustible? I told you that the amount is limited in the nature. They can be depleted. They can be exhausted by human activities. Example, forests, wildlife, minerals, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. Forest, take the example of forest. If we just go on cutting the forest, time will come when there won't be any forests around us. There won't be trees around us. If we go on killing the animals, what will happen? The wildlife will get extinct. Minerals also, if we go on using them unnecessarily, if we don't look after them properly, time will come when they will get exhausted. Similar is the case with coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. So these are all exhaustible resources. Children, I hope you have understood the basic differences between the two resources, inexhaustible and exhaustible resources. Okay, so let us go to the next topic. The next topic that I want to tell you all is about the fossil fuels. Now, what are fossil fuels? Fuel, you all know. Fuel means something that we are using for burning purpose. Like wood is a fuel. Okay, so like that we have got many other fuels also. But we are going to learn specially about fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? Some natural resources like coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc., that were formed from the dead remains of living organisms are called the fossil fuels. What are fossils, children? You might have studied in your lower classes that when we die, when the living organisms die, when plants die or when animals die, the parts, some parts of their body remain back between the rocks or between the soil, etc. And what do they form? They form fossils. So from these fossils, that means from the dead remains of plants and animals, when some natural things or when resources are made, they are called fossil fuels. And the most important fossil fuel about which you are going to learn in this chapter are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So what are the three fossil fuels that we are going to learn in this class? They are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Let us go to the next part, that is in coal. We will study about coal in detail. Coal, you all know. How does coal look like? You might have seen coal also. Coal is very hard. It looks like a stone and it is always black in color. And it is one of the fuels that is used to cook food. In the earlier days, when gas was not used so much as it is used now, coal was the only cooking medium. Even in the villages now, if you go, you will still see people cooking with the help of coal. So it is one of the important fuel that is used to cook food. Previously, in the olden days, again, in the olden times, in the trains and engines also, this coal was pushed so as to produce steam. And with that steam, the trains were run. So those were called the steam engines. Nowadays, we don't have that much of steam engines. Nowadays, the trains and all are running on diesel only. Then it is also used in thermal power plants. In thermal power plants, coal is used to produce electricity, and coal is also used as a fuel in many industries. Okay, so what is coal? It is a stone-like substance. It is black in color, used as a fuel for cooking food. It was used in the olden times for running the trains, that is in the steam engines. Now, but it is also used in the thermal power plants to produce electricity, and it is also used as a fuel in the various industries. Is that clear?